Come to find out, when the ladder, the angels going up and down trees like that. Read your Bible.
Read your word.
PC levels. Oh, thank you. And it's just we're doing is a test. Test 1 2. My head keeps. It's a test. Test 1 2. Oh, test 1 2. Mic check. And we're mic check 1. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Relax, Relate, to Breathe. To breathe. I just wanted to do a little bit. I am your younger sister, Jackie.
I'm your older sister, Nikki.
And this is our podcast / YouTube channel, as we are two real life sisters that like to get together and just kiki. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another week of our shenanigans. We have simply created this channel because we like to have fun, sit back, and talk. If you don't think you're doing shenanigans,
I don't.
And you can also comment on that, because y'all have been seeing, I ain't gonna get into it, that if they shenan once, they gonna shenan again.
You know what? You crack yourself up.
So we just have this channel set up to be able to just invite you in on our shenanigans and our fun conversation. The goal of this channel is to simply have fun, let you relax, relate if you can, and just unwind from a crazy day. Let's just sit back and debrief on the things that have been going on in the world.
Yes.
Don't take anything too seriously, but if you are watching this and you are a faithful watcher, y'all know who y'all are. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of your feedback, your comments, the love that you show. Anytime you see us, talk to us, just know that is not unnoticed. That is not taken for granted. We thank you so much. If you are not subscribed, we are unsure as to what you're doing.
Yes.
Because I feel as though we're funny. And there are people out there that don't know about us, and they need to know about us. So you can help us by sharing this podcast, subscribing if you are not subscribed, then sharing. Make sure that you get notified so that you can receive notifications when we upload, which we do once a week. If for any reason we're not uploading that week, we do let you know. So make sure that you're also following our social media. I am Living Learning Lifestyle on Instagram and TikTok, and Nikki will let you know hers because it's spelled weird.
Nikki D42. Not giving y'all my email address. Nikki D.
It's not spelled Nikki.
It's Nikki D NYCKIED on Instagram.
If you could just plug it there so that folks can see it, because that was
always in the description.
For a little confusion, you were giving us that email.
It's always in the description. You all
So follow us. That way you can be made aware of any changes or anything that we have going on, and also just join our community. We appreciate you so much. Now, we like to open up our podcast with a quick word of prayer, as we are women of faith. Okay, bow your heads. Lord, we thank you so much for yet another week that you have allowed us to come together and have fun and to show your love through our podcast to our listeners and to our new listeners that are going to be subscribing. Amen. We just want to say thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this week. We don't take anything for granted. And thank you for the breath in our body. Thank you for keeping us, keep our family, keep our friends, keep our listeners. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. As you know, we have a couple of segments that we'd like to start this podcast off with, starting with our segment, Minute to Get In It. Here we go.
You got a minute to get in it. You got a minute to get in it. Minute to get in it. You got a minute to get in it. Minute to get in it. Yeah. Sasso chocolate.
You've been rehearsing. Now, as you guys know, every week she rolls her eyes at me, but this week, Nikki, we take 1 minute to get in it, where we just express something that is on our heart, mind, or soul. That could be happy, sad, troublesome, on our last nerve, joyful, something fun that's happened to us. So are you ready for your minute to get in it?
Yes, ma'am.
And go.
It's not going to take me a minute to get in it. It's going to take me 10 seconds just to give a slight confession on today. I have become a believer in Saratoga sparkling water.
Well.
For those of you that don't know, I was not a sparkling water girly at all. Every time I would go out with my cousin and my sister, they want to get bottled sparkling water. Don't nobody got time for that. It don't taste right. But one day, somebody say, look at your neighbor and say, one day they brought the sparkling water to the table. And they bought a batch of limes with it. Okay, not a batch, a couple. And I said, oh, taste. Okay. And I tasted the water. Oh my God. And when I had put the lime in it, okay, it had gave such a refreshing feeling in my throat. I went and bought a few bottles.
You told us it wasn't,
and I want to say thank you, Saratoga and limes. God bless you.
It's not going to take, I don't need a whole minute.
When it swells up in your spirit, sometimes you can't hold it, you know?
Minute exceeded.
Okay, it's okay. Are you ready for your minute?
I am ready.
Go.
Okay, does my time start?
Yeah.
Or something? Oh, my minute to get in it is very quick. I would like to call all farmers to the carpet. Please check in, comment, call me, DM me. I'm trying to understand what's going on with our fruits and vegetables. Okay. Every time I attempt to get strawberries, the strawberries are as big as my hand. Entire strawberry. That's too big. That's not a normal strawberry. We are trying to eat healthy in America. We're trying to get rid of all the processed food. The food in America is the stuff that y'all are putting in, the way that you are enhancing this food is absolutely ridiculous, and that you will not be killing us with this food. We rebuke you. But now for this to have moved over into the fruits and vegetables, I would like to speak to you. Y'all don't need to be rushing the process. That's why we have daylight savings, if I'm not mistaken. That was the point of it. Farmers can have more light. I don't want strawberries as big as my hand, and since they are getting that big, I need to know what you injected in. Please reach out.
Reach out to you for what they're going to do.
I need to know. You need to explain.
Please reach out as well.
Please reach out. Please reach out. Farmers, those that's working on the farm. What? I think that they should reach out and just explain this, because to get the strawberry that big, they had to have injected it with something, right?
Yeah, they doing a lot of enhancements on this stuff.
Or did you just put extra seeds in?
Nah, that's a chemical they putting in there. That's a hormone enhancer, probably enhancing. I don't know. They doing something, them GMOs and whatnot.
Yeah, reach out, because I don't want this. I do not want this. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, thank you so much for our minute to get in it. Let us know something very quickly in a minute that's been getting on your nerves. That's starting you, bothering you, or that's got you hyped. Now, another segment that we have is Ask Us Anything. Okay.
Not you named it. And didn't tell nobody.
Next segment. We need to name the segment.
Who said that?
Ask Us Anything. You got a question, we got an answer. Oh, that's a good. No?
It's just
questions, answers.
We can take this offline.
Oh. I feel like the people can weigh in.
That's how they be in meetings.
Questions, answers. We got questions, we got answers. Ask us anything. What should we name the segment? But anyway, we did receive a question from one of our faithful watchers and my dear friend, Miss Veronica Little. Miss Veronica Little wrote, in the process of learning, discovering myself, I've been thinking about the activities, hobbies, and things that bring me joy. My question for you ladies is, what are some of your favorite things to do? This question also tends to be one of those first date questions as well. So, any hobbies or things that you enjoy to do?
You know, you go first, because I don't really...
Well, I have a couple of things that I enjoy. I don't know if I wouldn't classify this as a hobby, but something that I enjoy because I think that it helps with the process of kind of discovering yourself and just kind of learning new things, because we are ever evolving, is that I love finding and listening to new podcasts. And I like listening to audiobooks. So sometimes if I have to drive to Jersey and get my hair done, I will.
You
I
cute.
like it. Thank you. I like to listen to audiobooks, podcasts. I like to discover new ones. Some that talk about, of course, different things, excuse me, concerning life. Not the ones where it's just like, foolishness. I'm not talking about that. But ones that can just kind of help you self-reflect and look at yourself. I think that those are out there. Next week, because I didn't see this question beforehand, I just saw it. I'll share some of the podcasts that I'm listening to. I do know that the most recent book that I've been listening to is the not Power Moves. Power Moves is by Sarah Jakes Roberts. I did hear that was a good book if you wanted to listen to that. But a good book that I thought was actually really good was T.D. Jakes' last book.
Get ready.
No. Oh my goodness, this thing signed me out. How did it do that? How in the world did it do that?
Like you said, you can let us know next week.
That's a good one. I also like to listen to Darius Daniels too, as far as like listening to things that can just help you kind of evolve and even get better as a person. So listening to good podcasts, reading informational and good books. I also read the book by Melissa and Kevin on Stage called Marriage Be Hard. I like to read books and listen to things that pertain to where it is that I know that I'll be, so that I can just always be continuing to improve myself so that I can show up as best I can when that time arrives. Okay? So I like to do that. And the last thing that I like to do is I do like to walk. The reason why I like to Disruptive Thinking is the name of the book. Okay. Disruptive Thinking, it's a good book. I do like to take walks, whether I'm walking on the treadmill, walking pad, or I like to find a path outside and take walks and just like listen to some good music, some nostalgia music, something that just kind of just like lets you take your mind off of things. I know it is exercising, but it's not like hard, heavy exercising. Finding a route and just taking that walk, whether you take it in the middle of the day, whether you take it after a long day, I find that can actually be very therapeutic. Nice. So that's what I like to do. Cool.
Yeah, so this has often been a struggle of mine throughout the years when being asked this question. Okay. What are the things you like to do? I don't have anything in particular that I can say like I really enjoy. I'm discovering, I'm trying to help myself like kind of discover that now. I go out and do stuff just so I can get out the house and do it. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm, excited, or not necessarily not excited, but like it's not a hobby. So it's not a consistent thing. Like I know you're an avid reader and podcaster. You're always talking to me about the podcast you're listening to and the people and who said what, and you're just so inspired by those, those things that you listen to and the messages you send me. And I'm always like, So
we're very different, y'all.
we're different, but we, I understand though why you like those things and stuff. I just am in the process of discovering something about myself because I don't. It's hard. Like you be at work and I'm like, what's a hobby? I go to church. I get up and go to work, and I don't consider it a hobby. I just consider it something that I do. I hang out with friends sometimes when they're available. Veronica. No. And I enjoy hanging out with my friends. I enjoy hanging out with you, of course. I'm used to hanging with my family. So I just consider that like a part of like my everyday life.
Not that you do it a lot, but would you consider like trying new recipes and cooking?
No.
A hobby of yours? I mean, I'm not saying that you do it a lot, but
I'm just saying I don't like.
You do it more than me. She do it way more than me.
Yeah, I know, but I kind of like eat to survive. Like I'm trying to figure out what's not gonna make Nikki sick, and like I can actually eat and not have to worry about like is this not the right thing? Like changing my diet. So a lot of the times when I'm making things like different, it's because I'm trying to change that change a habit.
I feel like through that, I feel like through that you've developed that. So I think about like Tabitha Brown's story and how she had a lot of GI issues. And from that, she had to teach herself. And so she was doing a lot of experimenting like you do. Like, oh, these zucchini noodles taste good. Finding recipes, doing these things. She became, of course, a, um, a vegan influencer. But through that process, that was something that she picked up.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like my cooking skills have gotten better through the years.
Like you be finding vegan cheese. You be having.
Oh yes, my pasta salad, my vegan cheese now, my vegan feta is like it don't miss a beat. Like that joint me bumping. It's the second week I made my pasta salad, and I thoroughly enjoy it. My dad's always harassing me about sweet potato pies.
Potato pie.
It's that, and if you knew my grandmother, Mother Virginia Luster, she was sweet potato pie queen. She had her church when we was in church on lock, but she had them when she was selling them. And I never, because I was like not really an avid cook and I was not a baker at all. Like sometimes I would tempt and it wouldn't be right. The one thing I regret is not getting her recipe. I regret not talking to her about it. Like I'll be like, Grandma, can you make me a pie?
Was she giving it out? Because I thought it was.
Sweetie, she would have gave it to me. And she did give it to Marsha.
Oh, did she? Okay.
She did tell Marsha what she did. So she would give it out if you ask her. Like, she gave mommy her corn recipe. So like she would give you it.
But the sweet potato pie was serious.
Special. And even when I taste mine, like they're good, but I'm like, I'm trying to perfect and I just wish I could call her and like, Grandma, what exactly do you do? My one aunt be firm. Like she don't know. She can't. I know mommy used
Okay. No.
I'm sorry.
In a row, you have come for your aunt.
Yo, I got a third one. Let me tell you, maybe one of my hobbies is roasting people because I want to say.
Hey, I just wanted to say very quickly, unpopular opinion, I don't like sweet potato pie.
We're not going to talk about that. That didn't even need to be said. That's uncalled for.
I don't.
You black people specifically that don't like it.
When Thanksgiving comes around, I prefer if somebody has made a banana pudding, a peach cobbler, or an apple pie. But I do not be looking for nobody's sweet potato pie.
Apple pie?
I love apple pie. Don't a la mode it with the ice cream. What? If somebody is making cheesecake, and no, not sweet potato cheesecake, but if you're making a cheesecake, I'm not into sweet potato pie. Never have been. And everybody was like, you gotta try your grandma, get your grandma. I can have my grandma's pie on more than one occasion. And first of all, my grandma could cook. Okay? She could
back in the day when people were telling you this.
Back in the day. I had my grandma's pie a couple of times and I could not get with it.
So that right there was not called for. So
no, I could not get with just sweet potato pie in general.
Yeah, it's still not called for.
My grandma cooked all the time. I just can't get with the sweet potato pie for me. But the entrepreneurship in her that was hustling in the back of the gym.
Don't do my grandma.
I can get with. Grandma was a whole hustler.
She's like, I'm a hustler, babe. I just want you to know. She came to church, quit walking.
Inspiring. She was giving y'all hugs and sweet potato pies, and y'all was just gobbling it all up.
Because it was good. It was good. Those of y'all know, you know.
It was inspiring. I hustle like her.
I do want to give a shout out to my aunt. Again, I'm not going to say her name because, but she has been giving me content because I've just been talking to her at random times and I've been laughing. So this last time I spoke to her and I was talking to her and she was telling me about, we were talking about some situation, about like nowadays, the young kids and drugs and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
She was like, yeah, it's this store right next to it's a snack store.
What?
So And she was like, I was wondering. She was like, I guess they snacks must be cheaper than Wawa. Wawa snacks. So someone that she knew had went in the store, and it turned out to be a weed store. So you can get edible snacks and everything like that. When she said, yeah, I didn't know what I did. When she was like, I was just thinking they had cheaper snacks too. Wawa. She was like, because everybody looking for them dollar chips we used to get back.
And here you find it at a cannabis store.
No, it wasn't even $1. Well, I was just confused. Like she said the snack store, and then she said I thought they had cheaper snacks.
Wait, so how did she find out about this store?
Somebody went in there. Yeah, they went in there, and they were like, "Oh, this isn't a convenience store." For snacks. I said, not you thinking they built a whole nother store just for snacks.
A snack store.
A snack store.
I done heard it all from your aunt.
And I started laughing when she said it. She laughed. She was like, no, I'm serious. And I was like, that's the thing. Like, you were dead serious. Like, because she was telling me about the story. First, she's like, yeah, so they went in there. And it's like, come to find out, that's a store where they selling edibles and stuff like that. And she was like, I didn't know, because I was thinking they must got cheaper snacks than Wawa. I said,
that's just how they think.
I almost said her name. But I was like, I cannot. Yeah. But I love her. So she's been cracking me up lately with some of my aunts and uncles have just been coming out of their mouths saying what they feel. And it's been absolutely hilarious.
Wait, just to confirm, this is the Meta AI aunt?
Yes.
Oh, auntie.
Oh, love you. So, but yeah, I thought I'd share that little tidbit. Again, keep on talking to him. That's all I can say.
Because a snack store, just because, never mind.
Well, and then I was like, should I get me a snack store? Not an edible one. Not a,
Oh, just a snack store that sells cheaper
snacks. Just snacks. Like none of the other things like that Wawa's doing, but just like literally snacks, old school snacks. Like,
do you want to sell them at a lower price, like an old school feel?
Yes.
So we could come in there and we could get the dollar doodles.
25 cents. You can get them 2 for $1. 50 cents, I give them to you.
No, they were 25 cents. The doodles, the small bag of Cheetos.
I'm giving you a slight increase due to the economy. So I'm telling you can get 2.
So you're not looking to do what we thought. So that's okay.
I am, because you can't go to any.
They should be 25 cents.
We can take this offline.
Oh, God.
It's my new line.
Well, we can take this offline?
We can take this offline.
Excuse me. Oh, my gosh. Next thing up. This was very, 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 very interesting. But a man goes on his honeymoon without his wife after her sister goes into labor during the wedding. He says, was I just supposed to sit at home? Now, full story. These two got married. She is the older, she's a younger sister, so she's the older sister, and their mom passed away. So her younger sister is married and pregnant and having a child, and because the sister went into labor as they were supposed to debark on their honeymoon, she wanted to stay back for her sister to have a baby. Would you stay back if I was having a baby from your honeymoon?
No. And here's the reason why. So, thankful we have our mother still alive. And you're married. So it's not like you would be by yourself. I definitely would check on you. I definitely would see about you while I'm on my honeymoon enjoying my husband. I just don't feel like, and as close as we are, because people know that we're close, I just think that, I mean, because I believe like the situation was that the sister actually went into premature labor at the wedding, and so so you disrupted the wedding, and now you me as older sister is choosing to go with you as opposed to my husband who I'm going to build a life with, and you have a husband, her father is still alive. Like, you have people who can actually be there with you. I also don't, like, you personally, I don't feel like you would want me even in the room. I think I mean, I would come, but I think you have said before, like, you just wanted to be you and your husband.
Just because I don't, it be a lot.
So I know you, and I know you wouldn't mind me being on my honeymoon, and vice versa. I wouldn't, like, I'll probably be like, yeah, FaceTime my sister so I can talk to her or something. But to be honest with you, if I'm going through labor, I'm not really thinking about you. I'm thinking about, I want to have a healthy labor. I'm going to make it on the other side of this labor. I'm going to have my child. We're both going to be healthy in the end. And I have my husband right beside me. Thankfully we have our mom. Although she says she wouldn't come, but I would be like, if I called her and said, Mom, could you please come up here? She would. Because she always be like, no, that's you and your husband thing. So I just feel like, I realistically, that's kind of how we've been raised, and like how we talk and how we, we've gone through life. You know what I mean? I just don't, I don't see myself being there while you're in labor. Mm-hmm. Even like if I'm not married, if I'm have a husband, I just feel like I would be waiting for you to have the baby, and like the moment I'll be walking in, like once I know, like, oh, she had a baby, all right, I'm up there.
Yeah, like I don't want to sit there, like, God forbid your labor is 12 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
12 hours for?
That's what I'm saying.
Do your job. I'm getting some rest. I'm asleep. Call me when my niece and nephew was here. Oh! So y'all a little bit, like, I think that the issue that I have with is, like, I just don't think that you should be starting a marriage this way where you're choosing your family over your husband.
Yeah, no.
And I think that people, like, obviously, you want to marry right. You want to marry the right guy and all of those things. But, like, your husband is, like, you're supposed to cleave to your husband. Like, you're going to now have your family. You're going to now have, so it doesn't mean that you neglect your family, but your decision making now is completely altered because it's not just you. I actually think not going on your honeymoon and leaving him like that was actually very selfish of the girl. Because I feel like you're married now. Like, y'all have to move as a unit. You have to determine what is important. You have to talk to him, and I mean, obviously they didn't go into like details, but like, you should be talking to him and making decisions and moving as a unit. And sometimes that means like for example, people get married and guess what? They're not going to be at every Thanksgiving. They may alternate between his family and your family. Like, all of those things change. Your family needs to be understanding of that, and you need to be aware of that as a newlywed. Who doesn't go on their honeymoon because their sister is? No. I'm just not doing that for the sake of my sister is covered. She's good. God got her. We're gonna be in Tahiti or the Maldives. Okay. And depending on Wi-Fi, let me know. And when I get back, I will gladly, step into. But even so, like, you're gonna always have like to be figuring it out. You can't just be like, and like vice versa. It can't be like all of a sudden you get married and you can't make no more functions now. My man. Okay, you and your man get ready to get. You can't come to not now barbecue or you're not on the holiday because of your man. No. Like, y'all have to be in support of each other's families, and you have to know each other's families, know how y'all operate, and come together. Because technically you marry into that family. He marries into yours. You marry into him. and you level off. But ultimately, at the top of your relationship is God and then each other, not your family. So what these decisions that you're making now early on kind of are given red flag.
Dun 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 dun.
Waving the red flag. I meant to have a red flag.
Lord, I will say that, you know, I do think it would be different if they really didn't have anybody else. Like, you know, even if she was, I'm gonna say if she was married, but like say like there was no other parent or no other family member that could step in, and you want to still be connected. So I could maybe see something like that, but again, that's a conversation that you would have with your spouse. And if your spouse is insisting, and I believe that the spouse had all these things planned for them on the honeymoon,
and he couldn't get his money back on.
That he couldn't get his money back on. So I don't fault him for going by himself. I don't fault him for saying, I'm not about to lose my money because you want to go with your family. But I do think that she needs to step back in that moment and really realize that you can't jump in and be her mom because mom's not here. Like you're always going to be her sister. And I could speak as an older sister. You always want to protect and cover and always be there as much as possible for your sister. Like, you know, I'm your biggest cheerleader, your biggest fan. I may not have been when we were younger.
Let's stick with the thing because we don't hardly want to get into that unless y'all want to hear.
And it wasn't that I wasn't. It wasn't that I
saw her in the hallway and she did not say hi to me back.
Whatever. It wasn't that I wasn't that to you. It was
Nicole
more like a mother.
We were in the same school and you did not.
But we were not in the same grade.
We had on the same score.
You have to understand hierarchy.
See, and see
that attitude. That right there is why I put up that meme every time I tell my sister to do something. She don't listen. There's plenty of times I have plenty of examples I've had when I've told you about things not to do, and you went on. So you had your little ways about you.
Like what? I would like.
You want examples of things that I told you not to do?
100%. Yeah.
Sure. There's broken glass in the kitchen. Do not go in there because you don't have any shoes on.
Okay.
Who goes in the kitchen, comes out, oh, my foot is bleeding. And my parents run after her. And I said, I told her not to go into the kitchen. Example number 2. Stop climbing up the dresser, changing the channel. If you need a change, get somebody taller than you to ask them to change the channel. I can come down, change the channel. And Nicole, leave me alone. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Up the cabinet she goes. Up the dresser she goes. And so the one day I sat there and watched her. I told her not to. Didn't listen. The dresser fell on her. TV fell on top of her. And guess what? I rolled over and act like I didn't see nothing. Once again, my parents rushing in. And I want to say to them, y'all know how she is.
Let me just say this. You should hear yourself because that's rude.
That is not. Comment in the section if that's rude. If you are an older sibling and you have been telling your younger sibling to stop it, to cut it out, and they ain't listening. Example number 3.
Wait, no.
No. I'm going to finish.
Say it, and once again, my parents rush in. Like, you're so annoyed with them.
Because I'm so tired. I want to tell them, are you not tired yet? Example number 3. Okay. I am in the 5th grade. I'm excelling at my studies. I don't say much in class. I don't do much. I do not. Why I didn't speak to her in the hallway? Because she's bad. Okay? I'm not known in the school for being bad. She's doing all type of stuff. How I know she's bad? Because how does a 5th grader get called out of their class to go to their sister's 2nd grade class because she almost getting kicked out the class for acting up? And then when I come and I ask you, what are you doing? Miss, she gonna sit up here and tell me. She proceeds to give me the story about how the teacher was being unfair to her. And I told her, you are a student. You are not the teacher. You are a child and not.
So I should be treated unfairly because I'm the student? I'm was being mistreated by her.
Ladies and gentlemen, and this is why she would be in labor with her husband and not be there.
So the teacher's supposed to mistreat me?
The teacher did not mistreat you.
It was rude.
She was trying to handle you. And then she's telling me, and I'm like, man, what do you want me to do with that? And I told you, I said, if you don't stop it, I'm going to tell mommy. And you know mommy crazy.
She wanted you to talk to me.
There was nothing to talk to you. By 5th grade, I was fed up.
Did you hear what I said? She wanted you to understand my feelings, and you come to me, and instead of you asking me, the only thing you want to understand is, what are you doing? Excuse me, Nicole. I am having a difficult time with this teacher. And she with me, apparently.
Again, two opposites. Same birthdays, which is why we do not believe in signs at all. We are two same birthdays, 3 years apart, and two different people.
Well,
stop it.
I have maybe been on the rambunctious side for my parents, but I don't think it's a problem.
I may have been on. Okay.
That's just how I feel. So speaking of feelings.
Fourth example. No, I'm not going to go there. I have plenty of examples.
Yeah, but I thought you were going to have like recent ones. When I was a child, I speak as a child. When I got older, I put it So,
recent times when you don't listen to me? Not you grinning.
Proud peacock. Thank you. I'm sure I keep hitting this thing. Thank you. But speaking of feelings and how you could have maybe helped me express my feelings better, you recently went and saw the movie Inside Out 2. Now, I've seen Inside Out 1. I have not seen Inside Out 2. But I know that you wanted to share a little bit on that movie and I believe the message that it sent and kind of set up the movie in general in case nobody has seen 1 or 2, and then your feelings and thoughts on Inside Out 2.
Absolutely. So I had not heard about Inside Out 2, Inside Out period. Happened to be in my therapy session, and my therapist was like, oh, Inside Out 2 was coming out. And I was like, what's Inside Out? She's like, you ain't never seen Inside Out? No. She was like, go watch it. So I was like, okay. And I'm thinking it's an adult movie. So when I went and found it on Disney and saw it was an animated movie, I didn't have a problem with it because I like animation. I'm still a big kid at heart, so I don't mind going and watching movies. And, she just said, like, she was just talking about from a therapist perspective, like they had to have therapists in the writing room with them, like just how they developed it. And so the first one, when I went and sat down and watched it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was about showing the emotions that from a baby up until preteen years from this little girl. And so we get to see the behind the scenes. So all the emotions, the main emotions were joy, sadness, disgust, fear, and anger. Anger was my boy. He got that little puff when he got mad. He wanted to be in control. He was a mess. Like much of us, when we're angry, we are a mess. Mm-hmm. And I just love how they told the story of she was moving from, without giving you a whole lot of the movie, but she grew up, as a child in a certain area. The parent, her father got a different job. They moved to a completely different state and city where she had grown up from. And she became, kind of like uncomfortable where she was at, longing to be back with her friends and things like of that nature. And even as an adult watching the movie, like even the kid in you can go back to some experiences that you have had where you have been maybe uncomfortable in certain situations or had certain experiences where you had these different emotions. And I just shout out to Disney for being able to show you not only her emotions, but at times you would see the parents' emotions, which were the same exact emotions that were in the little girl's head were in the parents' head, but you saw how they operated as adults and what the things that we think about and the things that we focus on. And I just think it's an overall great movie. I think it teaches little kids how to deal with their emotions. The main thing that I got out of one was that it's okay to have sadness with joy. Joy was in control, and joy always wants to be in control of our life. Like, we all desire to be happy every day of our lives, but that's not the case all the time. There are things that happen in life. There are things, and my therapist said something that was like, joy just wanted to touch one thing, but because not joy, sadness wanted to touch one thing, but because they wouldn't let sadness touch one thing, sadness started touching everything. It's because we suppress those feelings. And so it starts to build up inside of us, when in actuality we should be dealing with those feelings and being okay and saying, I'm going to sit in this moment. I'm going to feel this moment, but I'm not going to linger in this moment. So for me as an adult, that's what it taught me. Like, it's okay to have these feelings. But how you deal with them and how you operate in them is what really matters. And so that, I was excited about Inside Out too. I was like, oh yes. So at the time I watched it, it looked like it was on Disney Plus, but so I was like, oh, I'm about to watch me Inside Out too. And y'all, it was the trailer. I was so mad. I said, get this off my screen. But I watched the trailer, and then I got excited, because then now it took it from her being a preteen going into her teenage years, and so they're bringing in new emotions. In Inside Out 2, main emotion that came in is anxiety. Baby, when I tell you, when you watch it and you see the operation, how things, and it's so crazy how they were able, like, who is in somebody's head like this? They were able to basically show you how when a certain emotion takes over and it's just out of control, and it's just like, it seems like it has a hold on you. And even though in the movie that was anxiety, but it could be depression, it could be a low self-esteem, like, it just, all of these things are wrapped up in these emotions. And when one is fully in control and seems like it's out of control and it's not balanced, it's unbalanced. There was an imbalance there. It's okay to have anxiety, but anxiety don't need to control your life. You know what I mean? It's okay to have anger, but anger should not be controlling your life. The Bible tells us it's okay to be angry, but what? Be angry and sin not. Like my therapist said, you could be angry but don't be angry and kill, and it doesn't give you the right to kill somebody.
Correct.
And I was like, that's so true, right? We be people over, but what happens when people move into that mode of being angry and they allow anger to consistently drive them, then they start moving in the mode of murdering and start taking people's lives because they never dealt with that anger. Or people start to abuse people because they never dealt with. For it to be a animated film, and I'm going to tell y'all, I went to the movies with not one kid. I don't have a kid. It was somebody's kid I could have borrowed that I didn't want to borrow. I told the Lord when I was I didn't want to go to the movies with a bunch of kids. And I will say, the Lord heard my prayer. Not that the movie was full of adults, but the fact that the children that were in that movie, not one of them were over, the movie just captivated them. Everybody's attention was on the movie. Nobody was hollering to their mind they need to go to the bathroom. They wasn't doing none of that. They wasn't doing none of that. I think somebody may have gotten up and gone to the bathroom, but they were not distracted. When I say the Lord heard my cry.
So one of the things that I saw was there was, I guess, like a breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
With joy and anxiety. And joy had to override the emotion of anxiety, from what it looked like. And Dave was like, she told anxiety, get out.
That is not
That's what people running around the theaters say.
When you look at it,
joy told anxiety to get out. Glory! Like,
she didn't tell Johnny. She didn't tell anxiety to get out.
So she didn't kick anxiety out of the feelings?
She told anxiety, let it go. You have to let her. You can't be in control.
Oh, okay.
Because it got to the point where it got out of control. And so, spoiler alert, if you ain't seen the movie, fast forward this part if you don't want to see it. But I'm telling you, it was a good. But anxiety had become so overwhelming, and they showed you that by the girl heart started pounding. She's tapping her foot. We know those emotions. Your heart is racing. Your breathing is speeding up. And what they did was pay into the emotion. You can see anxiety trying to is in control and seemingly is out of control. It's like a whirlwind, and anxiety's in the middle, like controlling it. And Joy steps in and says, "You can't make the decision for her. You have to let her go." And that's where the deliverance came in. Because baby, when anxiety took his hand off of it and came out, but it still was a whirlwind of emotions that was still going on. So then it showed us there was still yet a process that had to break the spirit of anxiety on her. And once it came, once that thing came together, then her breathing stopped. Then her heart palpitation stopped. Then she started to come to herself and recognize for herself who she was. Oh, baby, Inside Out ain't no joke.
It was good, like, because you remember so much with the.
How dare you? How dare you? I said I was strong. I was fighting it. That means
you were out in the heat. You've been out in the heat. And there was just a little
it was a few seconds. My eyes closed, but I fought it because I was like, I'm gonna watch this because what tried to hand me the spirit of sleep tried to jump on me. I said, I rebuke you.
Sleep was in there like,
and you shall go to sleep. I'm like, I shall not. I came here to see this movie.
The thing I have not seen too, but I am gonna go see too. I agree with your therapist that there has to be therapists in the writing room. I also feel like maybe a couple of bishops is in there, or because like you have to let her go. It's giving Lucy a let her go. The thing I like about it is that from the first one that I saw, it shows how the emotions are there and how situations bring them in at certain times. So you don't always know that you're feeling sad, but as you get older and as experiences start happening, then sadness comes forward like, hey, yeah, you feel me? Sometimes you don't even know that you're feeling angry, but these emotions kind of are there, right? You're going to be subjected to them anytime that you basically are born, and it's just showing you like, they're going to be there because they were there from when she was a child. But as the emotion grows and as the girl was growing, it basically showed how we really have to learn how to control our emotions even from a child. Like, it's so important how you handle things, how you emotionally respond, how you emotionally show up. Your emotions are important. And the other thing that I thought was really good was it showed how your emotions don't just affect you. When you don't have control of your emotions, you are affecting even the people around you. I really thought that there was a lot of like great messaging in the movie. And again, I only seen the first one, but I do plan on seeing the second one. But there's a lot of like great messages for teaching children and teaching adults, especially adults that are emotionally disconnected, don't like to deal with their emotions, don't like to feel certain emotions. There's no way that is from a child. There's no way for you to really get around that. But you have to figure out how to deal with that and how to make sure that the people around you aren't being affected by your lack of emotion, your too much emotion, your anger emotion, your disgust emotion, because all of these things literally make you up as a person, but also too, like, how you handle yourself and how you handle emotions determines people that want to be around you, that don't want to be around you, because you don't have control. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at one point, all of the emotions was like, get out the way, trying to get on the thing, get out the way, and trying to get on the thing. And so Joy was trying to get back because at the end of the day, finding joy, having joy as the root of it, and this is why the Bible tells us about joy, honey. We prepare door, but joy comes. Having joy, as the main. This is the reason in the first one, Joy kind of gets lost. She gets, you know, trying to save something. She gets like put into the wrong place and all these things. But the reason why Joy was trying to get back is because, yeah, you're going to have all of these, but you better find joy. You better find joy in your life. You better find joy even in the things that are going on that are upsetting to you, the things that are affecting you, all this thing. You have to get back to finding your joy if you're going to live life and live it more abundantly. And speaking of that, did you have anything else on Inside Out?
No, I just really liked it. Oh, I was going to say, I understand now why parents, parents allow their children to express their emotions. Mm-hmm. So I see more parents that will allow their child when they're angry, like, you're not going to be angry, send that. Or you'll see a child say, that hurt my feelings when you did. Or I'm sad because. What are you sad for? I'm sad because they're teaching them to be in tune with their emotions, which is not something that we were taught as children. Right. As a child, you stay in a child's place. You don't, you can't. What are you doing around here being mad? What do you, and instead of being able to recognize it and then put a placement on it. So there's a moment, we're giving you a moment to be mad. But then we're going to help you get over that, or we're giving you a moment to be upset. But then you have to come out of that. And so I think before I was like, these little, I'm not 100% gentle parenting, like convinced by gentle parenting, but I am convinced that a child does need to speak up and does need to have a voice.
There are just some things that you just learn as you go along, and you recognize that, hey, maybe I'll operate differently concerning this. Yep. And this will be, one of those matters. But speaking of emotions, dealing with emotions, your emotions have always been there, all of these things. I recently saw Pastor YPJ on Instagram do a prayer. And he just came on and he was like, I want to pray for the people that are dealing with disappointment. And then he said, disappointment means you are in a place of emotional discomfort because of an unmet expectation. Mm-hmm. And then he went on and he began to talk about it. And he, then he just did this prayer, to his followers that are just kind of sitting in a place of disappointment. And so my question to you is, how do you handle disappointment?
I don't.
That was the way you said it.
I don't. Okay. I've learned not to sit in it so long.
That's good.
To be honest with you, it's disappointing when you go for a job and you don't get it.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's disappointing. Like you said, it's an expectation. Like, oh, I expected to get that, and then you get that no, or you get that door closed, or you are sitting here at this age single, not intentionally, or you don't have the kid, you don't have the kids, the family or stuff like that. You don't have the things in life that you desire to have at the time. Then I have to remind myself that, for me personally, I personally serve the Lord Jesus Christ. I serve God, and I believe that everything that I get and I want to get will be in His timing, and not mine. And so I can't sit here in this, because if I sit and stay, the reason you move into depression. I have moved into depression before. I've moved into suicidal thoughts before, because I've been disappointed about where I was at. I've been disappointed about, I'm looking around at everybody else, and it seems like, this person that, like, every time I turn around, somebody else getting married, somebody else having a baby, somebody else business is, taking off. And it don't seem like anything that I, had the desire to do is really has come to fruition. And so it's very easily to stay in that. But I just have to keep reminding myself, keep it in my daily prayer, in my prayer to God, to say, all right, God, I'm going to trust you. I got to learn to trust you and trust the process. And the process, and the reality is that every door is not going to open. Every person is not going to like you. You know, that there are things that everything is not going to work in your favor. At the appointed time, favor will come and those things will happen for you. But in the moment, I think it's important in that moment that I begin to speak to my spirit, to encourage myself, to say, to tell my mind, you got to keep moving and you can't stop and you can't stay stuck here. I haven't, in the past, I haven't done that as often, but as I grow and I get older and mature more, I've learned that I'd rather be waiting on God than to move and something that He never intended. I already made that mistake years ago. I already did stuff that I was like, had I just waited, probably would have been much further along the line. Another thing I learned, and I haven't been learning recently, stop living in the past.
Good.
I regret. I wish I would have did. Because then that stuff too weighs on you. So now, not only are you disappointed, then you begin to look at opportunities that you feel like you missed, times that you should have done. Then it just sends you down spiraling. So for me, it's become very important for me to say, "No, I'm not gonna stay here." I've journaled some. I think that is good. It's a healthy thing. Like we were talking about emotions, is to get that out. Because a lot of times I was a holder of things, and then it just holding and suppressing until it just build up, and then it just explodes. And it's like, well, where did that come from? Well, from all the stuff that ain't happened, from all the times that I've been disappointed, all the things in it, and so I've just been learning really to be okay with myself and where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree.
What you?
Disappointment is something that comes. I think there are a lot of ways that you are just disappointed. And you know what? I gotta be honest. I do think that you're gonna, not that I'm trying to say it in a negative way, but I just think that continually, until we're done on earth, that there are just going to be disappointments. And that's because we weren't always promised this perfect rosy day every day. Um, how I deal with disappointments is I'm very grounded in my faith. I have to be. I but when I say that, it's not to say that I am emotionally avoidant. So I don't try to avoid what it is that I'm feeling. I know what I'm feeling. Sometimes I talk out what I'm feeling. Sometimes I just pray about what I'm feeling. And that is also me, talking out loud, talking to God. I do the same thing. Sometimes I write down what I'm feeling. So I allow myself to have that outlet for those feelings when I am disappointed, when I have been disappointed by someone, when situations have disappointed me, when things have just not turned out how I thought that they were going to turn out, when people have disappointed me or upset me. I have developed an understanding that you have to have a strong faith and you have to find the portal to let that out, because if not, that builds up, and to your point, it sends you into a whole nother spiral of other things. So when you're disappointed, when you're just discouraged or upset about something, don't let that cause you to dwell into one bad place after another, because it becomes a domino effect, and then it becomes even harder to pull yourself out of that. Dealing with disappointments, dealing with so many things in life first starts in your mind. And so you have to train yourself how to think, how to handle. And just an FYI, you have to do that every single day. It's not like you do it and then you're like cured. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm cured. No, some days you're going to be aggravated about something. You're going to be, like I said, but you have to train yourself to snap back from that disappointment and not go to a place where that's just going to lead you down a further dark hole. I just strongly believe in dealing with emotions, dealing with what you're feeling, dealing with what's going on, because I just think when you don't, the outcome can tend to just be worse when you don't deal with it. And I think that a lot of times, like you mentioned earlier, in our culture, we weren't necessarily taught to deal with things. And I think that now we're in an environment where we know better, though, and so since you know better, you do better. So even though you may have been brought up and you weren't taught to deal with things and things like that, now you know that there's resources and things out there that you need to do to better you. It's for your health, it's for your mental capacity, it's to keep your faith strong, things of that nature. So deal with it. I'm just how I deal with disappointment, I deal with it.
Exactly.
That's my my answer on that. But I just really enjoyed what he said there, how he explained that, it's an emotion, and this is what has caused the emotion, caused the buildup, and all of that. And so he just said a prayer because you need that. You need somebody that understands and that can tell you, like, yeah, you're not alone. I've felt that. I've been there, and this is what I've done to come out of that and things of that nature. So I just thought that was really good. Shout out to Pastor YPJ.
I'll also add too, because I think one of the biggest disappointments that people get is being disappointed in other people. By people, because you've set a certain expectation on them. Sometimes they don't even know that you have that expectation of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're aware. I will say to that people who have disappointed me, I've learned to reposition them.
Hello.
I've learned to reposition them. So once I've recognized that you're not giving me the same energy, I'm more into this than you are. It's not, rather than continue to be disappointed in you, I just reposition you. And so at that point, I don't have an expectation of you. I don't have any hard feelings for you. I still love you, still will pray for you, but I reposition you so you don't stand in that position to be able to keep repeatedly disappointing me. And I think that's something that maybe in the last couple of years I've learned, because I have always, my entire life has been, I don't want to say my entire life, but my entire life has been a lot of disappointment in people, because I feel like I'm a good friend. I'm a good sister. I'm a good daughter. I'm just a good person. And I just care about people. I just, and when people just are not reciprocating that, a lot of times it has crushed my spirit. And people know, sometimes I would lash out and I would tell them, like, yo, I'm not gonna be your friend no more, or whatever. Like, I'm done. And then they will joke it off, like, no, we can, no, don't say that, don't do that. I'll do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, yeah. After a while, I was like, I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not. People, because you know what I realized about people? People gonna do what they want to do, and they're gonna show you what they really want to do. And when they show you what they really want to do, you have to be mature enough to say, cool, reposition, on to the next.
I'm reposition queen.
My God. Well, I did have to talk to you about that, because my God.
I am reposition queen. Okay, I'm check. Checkmate, you're out of here. Out of here.
Some people be going so quick. I'll be like, my God.
No. The reason being is because I just no longer have an expectation of you. I'm as genuine as you described yourself. I think I am just as genuine. If you can't find it if you can't find a way to reciprocate that genuinely, if you're doing something because you think that, like, you're just supposed to, or you have to, or you don't even know how to emotionally accept somebody as wonderful as me, I don't know how to help you with that, but I know that I know how to help myself and protect my peace.
Well,
you're repositioned, and really your reposition just be positioned off or positioned out.
You've been relinquished.
And I recently saw a clip of Tyler Perry talking to Oprah, and he was like, when I learned to stop having expectations of people and just let them be where they show me that they are, and just let them be who they are, he was like, I've learned so much, because it's like having that one crazy cousin that's just gonna be crazy. Why would you come in expecting them to be like, if they are, they are. But your expectation should not be this high when they've repeatedly shown you, I'm just gonna be the crazy one. You just learn to just let them be. And if they change or they whatever, you accept them. You have open arms or whatever. But, like, other than that, I don't walk in like, this is gonna be. I'll be like, that's them. And if you tell me a story, I'll be like, sound about right. But I don't lose no sleep. I don't have no issues. I just have expectations of people, and I don't have high expectations of people, and I let people show me who they are, and then I let them just play the role of who they are, and that's it. You can't become so emotionally invested in people that aren't invested in you. You can't, and I've made that mistake of just being too good to the wrong people. Child, no, stop that. And the people that are going to show up and match you, or even the people that are going to show up and even be better, like when those people come, I think that you'll recognize it, you'll know it in friendships and relationships and families. Just you watch how people move and you'll know. And so that's just where we're at. The goal is to settle down, not settle for less.
Come on.
But you guys have been a great audience this week. I apologize for playing with these braids, but if you notice, they're not staying down. So I'm gonna have to put a scarf on them to like tie them down. They just can't pop it.
Or just
pop it out of the curls.
And make your outfit too, if you want to. Or when you record next time, get a scarf and just tie it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something. This was just all over the place today, so I apologize for that. That can be distracting. I would be distracted if I was watching it, so sorry about that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, we appreciate the love. If you have a comment, make sure that you comment. If you have a question for our question segment, which in the beginning of the show, we had a few suggestions. Let us know if you liked any of them. If not, we'll continue to keep exploring. We'll take it offline. That's my sister. Just let us know. And if you have any questions for us, just ask the question. The goal is just to be fun and have fun. You can have a serious question, funny question, inspirational, advice question. We're here. Just plug the question in.
I just want to note that next week is a holiday, so we will not be dropping a new video next week, but we will return the following week.
Ooh, and if you're going to be doing anything next week, going to see fireworks, just hanging out with your family or whatever, enjoy. I'll just be chilling per usual. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure that you share. Make sure that you let us know what you thought of this episode. We appreciate you so much. And until next time, bye. Bye.